Hello and welcome back to my channel. Dinar and Dong updates Iraq's economic turning point. Reform, redenomination, and the road ahead. In recent years, Iraq has reached a crucial economic crossroads. This isn't just another fleeting political promise or vague economic goal. It's a full-scale, strategic transformation of Iraq's financial system aimed at securing a more stable and diversified future. If you care about Iraq's prosperity, now is the time to pay close attention. For decades, Iraq's economy has been heavily reliant on oil exports. And when we say reliant, we mean nearly all in. Roughly 85% of Iraq's revenue stems from crude oil. This kind of dependence has always been risky, but as recent global events have shown, it's downright dangerous. One sharp dip in global oil prices, and the nation is thrust into economic turbulence. We've lived through these cycles: prosperity during oil booms, followed by fiscal emergencies when prices drop. It's an economic roller coaster that Iraq can no longer afford to ride. That's why the government has recently made a serious commitment to changing the narrative. Under the leadership of Prime Minister Mohammed Shia Al Sudani, Iraq has launched a series of bold reforms designed to reduce oil dependency and build a more balanced, diverse economy. And for the first time in years, we're beginning to witness actual progress. Breaking free from the oil trap, oil has long been both Iraq's greatest asset and its biggest liability. While it provides substantial revenue, it also puts the economy at the mercy of international politics and market volatility. Events in foreign capitals, decisions by OPEC, or global conflicts can all send ripples, or waves, through Iraq's financial stability. This is not just theoretical. We've seen it in practice, time and time again. Recognizing this, Iraq's leadership has shifted its focus toward long-term resilience. The aim is to create an economic structure that can weather storms, global market swings, and political instability. A system where prosperity is driven not only by natural resources, but also by innovation, private sector growth, and international investment. Reform-driven leadership. Much of the new momentum comes from leadership that appears genuinely committed to change. Prime Minister Al Sudani is spearheading reform with the help of key political figures, including Ayad Alawi, Iraq's first prime minister after the fall of Saddam Hussein. Alawi has long been a proponent of democratic and economic reform, and his return to influence is widely seen as a positive step. For many Iraqis, Alawi's involvement represents something of a second chance. His earlier reform agenda was derailed during Nouri al-Maliki's administration, a period marred by corruption, political infighting, and economic stagnation. One of the most damaging legacies of that era was the infamous currency auction scheme, through which billions of dollars vanished from Iraq's economy, often ending up in foreign hands. Today, with Alawi and al-Sudani aligned, there is renewed optimism that Iraq can move past its troubled past and toward a more promising future. Redenomination. What's really at stake? One topic that's been at the center of public debate is the potential redenomination of the Iraqi dinar, essentially removing 3 zeros from the currency. At first glance, this may seem like a technical or even cosmetic issue. But dig deeper, and you'll see why this could be an important step in the broader economic reform process. So what exactly does redenomination mean? In practical terms, it involves changing the face value of the currency without altering its purchasing power. For example, a 1,000 dinar note could be replaced by a 1 dinar note of equal value. The change is primarily symbolic and logistical, simplifying financial transactions and making the currency easier to manage, both domestically and internationally. But here's the truth: redenomination, on its own, won't fix Iraq's economic challenges. It won't stop corruption, lower inflation, or reduce poverty. Think of it like giving a house a new paint job without fixing the foundation. It might look better, but the real structural issues remain. That said, redenomination can have some real benefits if done as part of a broader, well-coordinated strategy. It could boost confidence in the national currency, make accounting simpler, and reduce confusion in both local and international transactions. If Iraq plans to float the dinar on international foreign exchange markets, a more streamlined currency could ease that transition and appeal to global investors. When is the right time? This leads to an important question. When should Iraq redenominate its currency? Some experts believe it should happen before Iraq floats the dinar. Their argument is that a cleaner, easier-to-understand currency would attract foreign investment and facilitate smoother integration with global markets. In their view, it's about presentation and clarity, giving Iraq a better seat at the international financial table. Others, however, think that redenomination should follow more fundamental economic improvements. They warn that without strong infrastructure, transparent governance, and a robust private sector, any currency change is just window dressing. These analysts point to other countries, such as Turkey and Brazil, that have redenominated their currencies in the past, only to see inflation and instability return due to weak economic fundamentals. Both arguments have merit. But one thing is clear: redenomination alone is not a silver bullet. It must be part of a coordinated economic vision, not a standalone policy. The investment law, opening doors to the world. While redenomination grabs headlines, perhaps the most impactful change in Iraq's economic landscape is the new investment law introduced under Sudani's administration. This legislation represents a game-changer, one designed to attract serious foreign investment by making Iraq a more business-friendly environment. For years, Iraq has struggled with bureaucracy, unclear regulations, and a lack of investor protections. These issues have discouraged international companies from entering the market. The new law aims to change that by streamlining procedures, cutting red tape, and offering clear, consistent rules for foreign and local businesses alike. Key features of the law include tax incentives for new investors, reduced tariffs and licensing fees, special economic zones to promote industrial development, legal protections for foreign investors, simplified registration for foreign companies. All of these measures are meant to create a more welcoming climate for business. More importantly, they are part of a broader effort to build a self-sustaining, diversified economy where growth doesn't depend solely on oil revenue. A win for local businesses. 2. It's important to note that this law isn't just about foreign corporations. Iraqi entrepreneurs and local businesses also stand to benefit. With easier access to global partners, technology, and expertise, homegrown companies can scale up, improve productivity, and tap into international markets. This creates a ripple effect. More businesses mean more jobs, better wages, and higher living standards. It also fosters a culture of innovation, entrepreneurship, and competitiveness, key ingredients for long-term prosperity. Linking currency and investment. Interestingly, the investment law could work in tandem with currency reforms. If the dinar were to be revalued or floated on global markets, it might make Iraq even more attractive to foreign investors. A stable and internationally recognized exchange rate simplifies transactions, encourages capital flow, and strengthens investor confidence. However, any move in this direction must be carefully planned. Exchange rate changes can have wide-reaching implications, including inflation, cost of imports, and the competitiveness of local industries. That's why coordination and transparency are so critical. Challenges on the horizon. Let's be clear. Iraq's path to economic transformation is not without obstacles. Major infrastructure gaps remain, particularly in electricity, transportation, and digital access. Corruption, although being addressed, continues to erode public trust. Political stability is still fragile, and the bureaucracy can be slow to adapt. There's also understandable skepticism among the public. Many Iraqis have heard promises before, promises that were never fulfilled. That's why the government must focus on transparency, public engagement, and real results. Building trust is just as important as building roads or passing laws. Why this matters to you. Whether you're a student thinking about your career, a local business owner hoping to grow, or an investor considering new opportunities, what's happening in Iraq right now matters to you. The economy is shifting. New sectors are emerging, including renewable energy, agriculture, technology, and manufacturing. Iraq is becoming a place where ideas can turn into enterprises, and where the private sector can finally take center stage. But none of this will happen automatically. It will require participation, vigilance, and dialogue. If you're passionate about Iraq's future, don't sit on the sidelines. Read, watch, question, and get involved. Share your thoughts on social media. Talk to family and friends. Engage in public forums and make your voice heard. Public discourse shapes policy, and policy shapes the nation. The real question, what comes after? So the next time someone brings up the redenomination of the dinar, challenge them to look beyond the headline. Ask them, what's the plan after that?